that in the Sean Diddy Combs case. So we're seeing this a lot more frequently.
The air crackled with an intensity usually reserved for a stadium packed with screaming fans, not a sterile courtroom. Millions watched, hearts pounding, as hip-hop titan Lil Durk stood before the bench, his fate hanging by a thread. This wasn't just a legal battle, it was a fight for his very existence. A dramatic twist in a story that began on the gritty streets of Chicago and reached the pinnacle of global fame. Could the artist who soundtracked a generation survive this ultimate test? The tension was unbearable, the stakes astronomical, his future, his freedom, his life, all on the line in this single pivotal moment. From the concrete landscapes of Chicago's South Side emerged Durk Derrick Banks, an artist who, as Lil Durk, would profoundly shape the sound and soul of modern hip-hop. His journey was a raw, unfiltered narrative of struggle, survival, and the pursuit of a dream against overwhelming odds. He rose from the drill scene, a sound born of harsh realities, to achieve mainstream superstardom, earning accolades, topping charts, and building a dedicated global fan base. Yet the streets that raised him, the life experiences that fueled his music, have remained inextricable.
Alright, so it looks like we've got Lil Durk and his legal team trying their hardest to get Lil Durk out of jail. Yesterday, they filed a motion to dismiss the superseding indictment against Lil Durk because they believe that the prosecution team presented evidence to the grand jury that was not rooted in fact. Specifically, they are claiming that part of the evidence the prosecution team provided to the grand jury regarding a song that he did with Babyface Ray called Wonderful World and Jackie Boy, and the version of this song that they presented to the grand jury to get that superseding indictment had a clip of Quando Rondo yelling out no after his cousin Lul Pabb was shot in LA. They presented this to the grand jury as if Lil Durk had added that no scream to the record himself. Him and his legal team and the producer of this record and the owner of the studio that recorded this record are claiming that Lil Durk had no say.
Linked to his present, even as he reached the zenith of his career. The shadows of past conflicts and the harsh realities of the world he came from lingered, ultimately culminating in the most severe legal challenge of his life. The storm broke with stunning force on October 24th, 2024. Federal agents moved in, apprehending Lil Durk in South Florida under circumstances that felt ripped from a movie script. Reportedly, as he was preparing to depart on a private flight to Italy. This was no minor issue. This was a seismic event triggered by a sealed federal indictment handed down in Los Angeles. The charges laid bare were chilling in their severity: conspiracy to commit murder for hire, the devastating use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death, and a litany of serious firearms offenses, including the alleged use and possession of a machine gun. The weight of these accusations alone was staggering, promising a legal fight of immense proportion. At the heart of the federal indictment lay the explosive allegation that Lil Durk orchestrated a plot targeting rival rapper Quando Rondo. This alleged scheme, according to prosecutors, culminated in a violent encounter on August 19th, 2022, near a
of evidence on the chip. Then they saying that they got audio, video. Man, they got so much on Durk now, man. This lawyer is in a way. The lawyer studied trying to fight these lyrics. When the lyrics, okay, if they throw out the lyrics, they still got you. What about the text messages? What about the flights in his name? What about, the plot and everything, man? It's a lot of more to this, man. And I just feel like this lawyer that
bustling Los Angeles mall. While Quando Rondo escaped unharmed, the attack tragically claimed the life of his cousin, 4-year-old Saviay'a Robinson, known as Lul Pabb, who was struck by gunfire while in Quando Rondo's vehicle. The narrative presented by the prosecution painted a picture of calculated retaliation, a direct response to the November 2020 killing of King Von, a close friend and fellow OTF member, following an altercation involving Quando Rondo's crew in Atlanta. The indictment positioned Durk as the central figure, the lead defendant among several alleged co-conspirators linked to his Only the Family collective. Following his arrest, the Grammy-nominated artist was transferred to federal custody in California to face these daunting charges. In November 2024, standing before the court, he entered a plea of not guilty to all counts. His legal team, a formidable force in their own right, immediately began the complex process of seeking his release pending trial. They reportedly presented a substantial proposed bond, Package including a considerable $1 million in cash offered by his label, Sony Music, alongside significant equity and property, a testament to his established success and resources. However,
and buys 4 ski masks. The GPS put him at the store at the time of the purchase. There's probably cameras in the store, and they have a receipt for the actual purchase to him. He also goes and gets a bunch of guns, including a Glock with a switch, and he provides these guns to Flocka Brown Eyes and co-conspirator 2. The day of the murder. By the way, all this is accurate, right? You're not disputing any of this. According to the defense.
Co-conspirator 2.
These efforts met a significant roadblock. In December 2024, the court denied his request for bond, deeming him both a potential flight risk and, critically, a danger to the community. This decision meant continued incarceration, and he has remained held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles ever since. The walls of the facility a stark contrast to the arenas he once commanded. Being locked up, facing these kinds of charges, man, it's a whole different world. Durk's thoughts might echo from behind those bars. One minute you're on top, living the dream. The next, it hits different. You got so much time to think, to replay everything. People see the fame, the ice, the cars. They don't. See the weight you carry. The targets on your back just for being who you are, or who they say you are. It's frustrating. You feel powerless. Like your voice. The one thing you always had is muffled, but they can lock me up. They can put me in here, but they can't lock my mind. They can't stop me from thinking about what's real, about getting back to my family, about clearing my name. The legal complexities surrounding Lil Durk only seemed to deepen as time went on. In December 2024,
the defendants under the bus, because he's saying that Lil Durk can't have it. You got those guys, but my guy's innocent. You know, hey, it's a dirty game, man. We already seen this with O Block. They lawyers. When it comes to the end, man, they get to throwing people out the way. But Lil Durk, what Lil Durk is trying to do is Lil Durk is trying to he definitely separating himself on this shit, and he trying to get the information that the feds got. That's what Lil Durk really trying to do. Like, they trying
or newly unsealed court documents revealed a connection to a second entirely separate murder-for-hire investigation. This one rooted in his hometown of Chicago. Federal investigators suggested a link between Durk and the 2022 killing of Stephon Mack, who was allegedly the leader of a rival gang faction. The suspected motive in this instance was reportedly retaliation for the 2021 murder of Lil Durk's own brother, Deepening. While these documents certainly intensified the scrutiny on Durk and factored into the court's decision to deny bond, as the judge noted concerns about his potential danger to the community, potentially alluding to the implications of such investigations, it's vital to understand that Lil Durk has not been formally charged in connection with Stephon Mack's death. This distinction is crucial, yet the existence of the investigation undoubtedly adds another layer of pressure and complication to his already precarious legal standing. It feels like they're trying to pile everything on. Durk might reflect on this second investigation becoming public. Just when you're dealing with one fight, here comes another ghost from the past. Stuff people don't understand. The life I came from. It's complicated. It ain't black and white.
Me take it out. I told my staff to take it out. They ended up messing up and not taking it out. So he was mad at me over not taking it out. I tried to reach out to him and say, yo, it really was an accident. Like, I wouldn't do this on purpose. Like, Vlad TV is not known for breaking baby stories. You know, we have a 95% male audience. My audience doesn't give a shit if you're having a baby or not.
Right.
And it's definitely not something I would wreck a relationship over. But he was just mad at me, so I think on a couple of his albums, he said, like, fuck Vlad or some shit.
Like, they try to make it in these papers. You lose people you love, and the streets got their own code, their own cycle. But that don't mean I'm behind every single thing that happens. It's easy to point the finger when you're in my position. It just adds to the pressure, man. Like, the weight on your chest gets heavier. You gotta stay strong, though. Can't let them see you break, even when it feels like everything's trying to crush you. The ripple effects of the August 2022 Los Angeles incident continued into the new year. In February 2025, Saviay'a Robinson's mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Cook County, Illinois. The civil suit named Lil Durk, his business manager, and his OTF label as defendants, seeking to hold them accountable and obtain damages for Robinson's death. This lawsuit directly ties into the alleged murder-for-hire plot detailed in the federal indictment, presenting another significant legal battle for Durk, albeit in the civil civil arena. It marked the second major wrongful death suit he has faced in recent times, the first having been filed by the mother of slain Chicago rapper FBG Duck. These civil cases run parallel to the criminal proceedings, adding financial and reputational stakes to his already dire situation.
Like that. Whatever. I don't really give a shit. But, you know, academics asked me, you know, do I think that Durk is going to beat this case? And I said, it completely depends on his co-defendants. If they testify against him, he's cooked.
Yeah.
If everyone stays quiet, he'll be good, but it's a little hard for the actual shooters that have been caught, that are confirmed that they're the shooters.
Amidst this relentless legal maelstrom, a remarkable aspect of Lil Durk's current reality is his continued artistic output. Despite being incarcerated, his creative spirit has not been extinguished. On March 28, 2025, he delivered a powerful statement by releasing a surprise album titled Deep Thoughts. Dropped while he remained confined, the album serves as a raw, unfiltered window into his mindset during this incredibly challenging period. Tracks within the album delve into deeply personal struggles, touching upon themes of addiction, the immense pressure of his legal situation, and the isolation of incarceration. Collaborations with major artists like future Lil Baby and Janie Aiko underscored his continued influence and respect within the music industry. The release of Deep Thoughts resonated strongly with his fan base and the broader music world. It achieved significant commercial success, debuting high on the Billboard charts, a testament to his enduring popularity and the audience's eagerness to connect with his narrative, even from behind bars. Critics noted the album's introspective nature and raw honesty, though some observed a sense of constraint, likely influenced by the ongoing legal proceedings.
Then parked the car so Jones, Lindsay, and unnamed co-conspirator 2 could attempt to murder Quando Rondo. Prosecutors say the men shot at Quando Rondo's car, but ended up killing his cousin, who was standing next to Quando's car. Then the men fled and went to a local burger joint to discuss payment. The same day Quando's cousin was killed, prosecutors say an OTF credit card was used to purchase plane tickets from San Diego back to Chicago for Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston, and co-conspirator 2. Fast forward to October,
limiting what he could explicitly address in his lyrics. The album stands as a powerful symbol of his resilience, demonstrating that even when his physical freedom is curtailed, his artistic voice remains potent and capable of connecting with millions. Putting out Deep Thoughts from in here. That was different. Durk might reflect on the album's creation and release. Music has always been my way out, my way to talk about things I can't just say. In here, that's amplified. It's like every bar means more. Every feeling you put on the track is realer because of where you are. I had to get it out, man. Had to let the people know what's going on inside my head. The fear, the hope, the frustration. Writing in here, it's not easy. It's a whole different process, but it's necessary. It's my therapy, my way to fight back, to show them I'm still here, still thinking, still feeling. That album is a piece of my soul from this cage. The features, them connecting with me while I'm in here. That shows love. That shows they believe in me, or at least they rock with the music. That means everything right now. The contrast between Lil Durk's status as a celebrated Grammy-nominated artist
Station across the street from the Beverly Center. The same BMW that's being rented from a commercial rental company, driven by the guy who flew in with Durk, pulls up, and then Flock of Brown Eyes and co-conspirator 2 get out of the car and open fire on the car.
No, you got that slightly wrong. So the BMW actually pulls up to the gas station, and there's only two people in the BMW. It's
and his current reality as a federal inmate awaiting. Trial is stark and compelling. He is a voice that rose from the streets, now potentially facing a lifetime of silence imposed by the very system that governs those streets. The violence often depicted and reflected in his music has, in a devastating turn of events, intersected with his life in a way that could permanently alter his trajectory. The legal battles he faces are not abstract concepts. They are tangible threats to his freedom, his career, and his future. As of April 2025, the focal point of the narrative surrounding Lil Durk is the impending federal trial for the murder-for-hire charges, the postponement to October 14th, 2025. While perhaps frustrating for all parties involved, underscores the sheer complexity and magnitude of the case. Prosecutors have reportedly amassed an immense volume of evidence, estimated at around 230 gigabytes of digital data and over 20,000 pages of documents. This vast discovery requires significant time for both the prosecution to organize and the defense to review and prepare their strategy. Lil Durk's legal team continues their rigorous defense, including the recent filing of motions to
I think that's also why you're important, your circle is important, because, like, you know, somebody can make a video on me, right, and I get pissed off. I could think some crazy shit in my head, but I don't have anybody around me that's gonna gas me up. So it's like, yeah, if you're bragging about you're around all these killers and then somebody dishes you, all these killers are gonna be like, man, what's up? I want a new Rolex, just give me a Rolex. I'll go knock them off. Just fly me over there, I'm gonna make it happen.
Dismissed the indictment based on claims that prosecutors may have presented misleading information to the grand jury. October 14th, Durk might think, the date looming large. That's the day. Everything's building up to that. Feels like a lifetime away sometimes. Feels like tomorrow others. You try not to think about it too much, but it's always there, hanging over you. You prepare as much as you can with the lawyers, go over everything. It's like getting ready for the biggest show of your life, but instead of performing, you're fighting for your life. The amount of paperwork they talking about, it's crazy. Just shows how deep they trying to go, how hard they coming. But we gonna fight. We got the truth on our side. That's all you can hold on to in here. The truth and the hope that justice prevails. The hip-hop world, his fans and observers of the criminal justice system are watching closely as this high-stakes drama unfolds. Lil Durk's case represents a complex intersection of art, fame, the realities of street life, and the severe consequences that can arise when these worlds collide within the legal system. The outcome of the trial, scheduled for October 2025, will be a defining moment, one that will not only determine the
So much to unpack, so let's bring on now criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Safa Robinson Ferrer. Safa, it's always great to see you. You know, first I have to ask your reaction to this whole case. You know, Lil Durk is a Grammy Award-winning artist, but federal prosecutors allege that he's this mastermind behind the plot to kill Quando Rondo in retaliation for his friend King Von's death. What are your thoughts about this case overall?
It's not surprising to see an indictment come about as a result of that. I think that there have been rumors and talks.
Next chapter of Lil Durk's life, but could potentially shape the remainder of his career and legacy. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with peril, but also underscored by the resilience he has shown in continuing to create and connect with his audience, even while facing the most challenging fight of his life. This story is far from over. The courtroom awaits, the evidence is being prepared, and a man's future hangs in the balance. To stay updated on every twist and turn of this incredible legal saga and see how one of hip-hop's biggest stars confronts the fight of his life, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Don't miss a single moment of this tumultuous turn. The story of Lil Durk's recent legal battles and continued musical output presents a deeply complex narrative that underscores the intersection of fame, artistry, systemic violence, and personal accountability. As one of hip-hop's most celebrated figures, his journey from Chicago's drill scene to global stardom has been defined by both triumph and tragedy. However, the events surrounding his federal indictment have cast an unprecedented shadow over his legacy, forcing fans, critics, and the broader music industry to confront uncomfortable truths.
Actually had the capability to send out and put out a hit. This was a retaliation to another popular rapper in the drill genre of music, King Von. And so this was to enact revenge against the murder of King Von. What this goes to, though, Alex, is a larger conversation that we need to be having in America is how do we address gang culture, and then how do we address the violence that precipitates within particular urban communities. Every time we have
truths about the realities faced by artists who emerge from environments steeped in violence. The weight of allegations. The charges against Lil Durk are undeniably grave, with the government alleging that he orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo, a claim rooted in retaliation for the death of King Von's. This cycle of retaliatory violence is tragically emblematic of the very culture Lil Durk has often depicted in his music. While his lyrics frequently explore themes of loyalty, grief, and survival, they also reflect the cyclical nature of street conflicts, where revenge becomes both a personal and communal imperative. If convicted, these same narratives could be used as evidence against him, highlighting how artistic expression can blur into real-world consequences. Moreover, the second investigation, linking Durk to the killing of Stephen Mack, adds another layer of complexity. Though no formal charges have been filed in this case, its inclusion in court documents suggests that prosecutors are building a broader case aimed at portraying him as a central figure in organized criminal activity. These allegations raise critical questions about the extent to which public personas, especially those shaped by narratives of street credibility,
and so certainly they would be going after him, not only the trigger pullers and anybody else who may be lower level.
And, you know, Lil Durk has been behind bars now since October. His trial was supposed to kind of start relatively soon, but now it's pushed back to October of this year. I want to ask you, what do you think the federal trial against Lil Durk could look like, given what appears to be this overwhelming kind of evidence against him?
I expect his trial to more than likely be months long. You know, it can take
can influence perceptions of guilt or innocence. Artistic resilience amidst adversity. Despite the gravity of his situation, Lil Durk's ability to produce deep thoughts while incarcerated speaks volumes about his resilience and dedication to his craft. The album serves as both a creative outlet and a window into his psyche during an extraordinarily challenging period. Tracks like Shaking When I Pray reveal a man grappling with existential fears, faith, and regret, offering listeners a glimpse beyond the headlines. Yet the project's introspective tone also feels constrained, likely due to the limitations imposed by his legal circumstances. This tension between vulnerability and restraint mirrors the precarious balance he must strike in navigating his current reality. Notably, Deep Thoughts has resonated strongly with audiences, reaffirming Lil Durk's enduring appeal. Its commercial success demonstrates the deep connection he maintains with his fan base, many of whom see their own struggles reflected in his music. For better or worse, his authenticity, rooted in lived experiences, remains a cornerstone of his artistry, even behind bars. You know, he continues to shape conversations within hip-hop, proving that his
that is a creative work that should be protected and is protected by the United States Constitution and copyright law. The government's making a significant stretch trying to tie him into this murder or this murder for hire plot. And ultimately what the government's trying to do is hold somebody responsible for this death, but the person responsible is not Lil Durk. Whether they want to go after, you know, the co-defendant who allegedly fired the firearm or killed that individual, that's a conversation for another day. But my client, he's a businessman. He has other...
His voice cannot easily be silenced. Broader implications for hip-hop and society. Lil Durk's predicament raises larger questions about the societal structures that contribute to cycles of violence and retribution. His rise from the south side of Chicago parallels countless stories of young black men navigating poverty, systemic neglect, and limited opportunities. Drill music itself emerged as a raw articulation of these conditions, providing a platform for marginalized voices, but also attracting scrutiny and blame when real-world violence intersects with artistic representation. Critics may point to Lil Durk's alleged involvement in violent acts as evidence of hypocrisy or moral failing, yet such critiques often overlook the systemic factors that perpetuate these cycles. The pressure to maintain street credibility, both personally and professionally, can create untenable dilemmas for artists caught between their pasts and aspirations for a better future. In this context, Lil Durk's story serves as a microcosm of broader societal challenges, illustrating how systemic inequities manifest in individual lives. A trial that could define a legacy. As Lil Durk awaits trial, the stakes could not...
I like to say, you know, this person did this for this reason, when there's a whole separate explanation as to why something may or may not have been done. But you only get that one prosecution vision or side of the story until, as the defense, we're able to tell our own story. And so I'm sure that his attorneys are preparing to tell that story for him.
All right, Safa, again, thank you so much for your insight into this case. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Durk Banks, aka Lil Durk,
be higher. A conviction on the federal charges would almost certainly end his career and result in life imprisonment, erasing the possibility of redemption or rehabilitation. Conversely, an acquittal might allow him to reclaim his freedom and continue shaping the trajectory of hip-hop. Regardless of the outcome, However, his case will leave an indelible mark on discussions about accountability, justice, and the responsibilities of public figures. For now, the hip-hop community, and indeed, the world, watches and waits. Will Lil Durk's resilience and talent prevail, or will the weight of his alleged actions overshadow his contributions to music and culture? His trial promises to be more than just a legal proceeding. It will serve as a referendum on the complexities of fame, creativity, and morality in an era where the lines between art and life are increasingly blurred. In the meantime, Deep Thoughts stands as a poignant reminder of his humanity, a flawed, multifaceted individual whose story is far from over. Whether viewed as a victim of circumstance, a perpetrator of violence, or simply a man wrestling with his demons, Lil Durk remains a figure whose journey encapsulates the contradictions and challenges of our time.